Hey, it's Michael Jamin. Today we're going to talk about submitting your work to screenwriting contests and film contests and all that. And so, are they good or are they bad? Here's what I know about that. Very little. I don't know at all. I do know that the winners of those contests often draw attention from agents and managers and such. And so, in that sense, if you win a contest, that could be really good for you because that person will see your script and say, okay, I'm now going to take a flyer on you and I'm going to help you open doors. And so, great, that can really help. And that's a wonderful thing to get out of a contest. So then the script winds up in a pile of me, like a showrunner, someone like me, someone who could possibly hire you. And so when we're staffing for a show, not just me, but any showrunner, you start from the top up. You hire the co-executive producer first, and then the supervising producer, the people who get paid a lot of money. They get hired first because you need people with experience. And then if there's money left over, hopefully there is, you might get something in your budget to hire a staff writer, someone brand new, someone with very little experience. And that's when your agent or your manager puts that script in a pile, and someone like me will read it. And I'll have a pile of easily 30 scripts of people like that. And so often those are people, they could be the underrepresented people who don't really have a voice in Hollywood. So someone who grew up in the inner city and has an interesting story, or maybe someone who grew up in the country and then went to the Marines and fought in the war and then now is a writer. So those are interesting people, great backgrounds, and they could be helpful to have in a writer's room. But they're going to be 30 of those people. So the one you're going to hire, there's only a spot for one to hire. And so, and by the way, even if you're not one of those people, that's okay too, because you could still have a good story, an interesting, unique story. But we can only hire one. And so the one that gets hired is the one who knows how to write. So there are many people in that pile. They've already cleared that first hurdle of being good enough to get an agent, but now they have to get the second hurdle, which is people like me. The showrunner wants to know if you write. They don't really, your background is interesting, but can you write a story? Can you make me write something that makes me want to turn the page and find out what happens next? And if you can't do that, we're not going to hire you. We're going to hire that person who can. Now, you may think, oh, it's okay, I have an agent. The agent's going to push me again on something else. Well, no, the agent is going to open the door. They're going to put the script. They're not going to teach you how to do it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to write. That's not their specialty. They're going to open the door, and then they're going to put your script in a pile. Eventually, after a couple of submissions, if you don't get hired, they're not going to fight for you. They're going to find somebody else. And that person's there and waiting. It's like in the NFL. If your running back craps out in year one, next year there's going to be 400 guys just like him waiting to take his slot. So it's ruthless. So it's the same thing with the staff writers. There's a long line of people who want that, and they're constantly coming in. There's no shortage of people like that. And there are people who've been on shows as a story editor, which is kind of a lower level writer. They're happy if they can't get work. They're happy to bump down to staff writer again. Well, not thrilled, but they'll do it for the job. So you're not just competing with people who are lower. You're competing with people who are a little bit higher. So you need to know how to write. And I'm telling you, of those scripts that I see, not many of them are from people who really know how to write. Like when I find them, I'm like, woo, you're hired. It's like, it's easy. It's a no-brainer. That's what I teach in the course. So it's not good enough to be good enough. You have to really know what you're doing. You have to understand story. Hope that helps. If you want to learn more, click the link.